Yo, what's up guys? Quick video just to check in, let you know that I am actually still alive after 8 or so years since I last made an upload to this channel. Oh, what a time it's been. So last time I saw you guys, my dad had just passed away and I was in a pretty bad place. Still in a fairly bad place to be honest, but things are improving. And I'll get to that in a little bit. So what's happened in the meantime? So my dad died, had to go out, get a job. The people there immediately hated me as soon as I walked in. Took about 6 months to change their opinion of me, worked my way up the ranks, got better, year in, got made redundant. Took a £4 pay cut, got another position at the same place, worked for another year, got made redundant. And it was a pretty bad time all round because I'm supposed to be sorting out this will, I'm supposed to be sorting out this house which is massively overgrown, and there's these invasive plants that are destroying it, the foundations. And what doesn't help the fact is that my dad wasn't keeping any of his documents, which when you're sorting out a will you need those kind of things. So after that second redundancy I'm trying to find work. A few weeks turns into a few months, and then essentially things get a lot worse. COVID hits. But there's a part that I haven't mentioned. So the bit that I didn't mention is I found I was unable to balance having a job and also managing a house. So the house was getting worse and worse, and everything was getting messier and messier. And I found that the easiest way for me to be able to get up and get things clean and get things done was alcohol, something that always helped me. And so you use those alcohol moments to get those tasks done. But alcohol is something that you rely on after a while. The other thing is I was finding it very hard to sleep. If you go back through my other videos from many years ago, you will know that I have sleep problems. And so I would turn to alcohol in order to be able to fall asleep. Without it, I would sit looking at the ceiling for hours. So I'd already depended on alcohol quite a bit at this point, and suddenly what hits? COVID-19. Can't go anywhere, can't do anything. Unemployed, with a lot of time on my hands, not really a lot to do, stuck in my thoughts, stuck in my head. How do we resolve the situation? Alcohol, unfortunately. So that got worse. My weight went out of control. Eventually I sort of hit rock bottom. I found the only job that I could relatively easily get at the time, working at a place that nobody really wants to work. Really heavy work, very low pay, but it got me by. And it was during this next 2-year period that I started to realise that I was really struggling in life. At some point during this, I was working myself to the bone. I fell ill, came down with flu-like symptoms, went blind for a day, couldn't see. Vision eventually returned, but it's left me with permanent damage in both eyes. If I look out my right eye, I can just see this big black mass. If I look out my left eye, I can see a smaller black mass. And for a good while, my vision was truly messed up. I couldn't even look at words on paper because it just looked like they were disappearing. But that started to improve eventually. However, what comes next? Another redundancy. The company went into administration, back into uncertainty, don't really know what to do. In the midst of this, I realised that there's a very strong chance that I had this little thing that was holding me back, and it was called ADHD, and it took me a couple of years to get the ball rolling. But then finally, we started to make progress. I got a new job, and in October of last year, I was diagnosed with ADHD. And as of last week, I just started to get medicated for it. So that's one reason why I see things are starting to look up, because 1 week on that medication has already been a massive change to my life. It's so much easier to do things now. My energy levels are so much better. So that's one positive out of all of this. The second positive is when I found that new job that I mentioned a year in, it was unfortunately announced that they were closing. But we weren't being made redundant, we were being moved to a place 10 miles away. I don't have a car, and travelling there is like, it basically costs like £8 to £9 a day unless you get a lift. So I'm currently getting a lift, but the good news is when you're backed into a corner you are going to make decisions, and the decision that I decided to make was that I was going to learn to drive. So I'm about 30 hours into learning to drive, not quite test ready yet, not really getting a lot of lessons at the minute either, but hopefully give it another, I'll be generous here, maybe like 10 months, you know, including how long it takes to get a test. Hopefully I'll have a car on the road. So things aren't amazing, but things are getting there, and I wanted to share that with you because someone said down in the comments a long time ago, there was a lady who asked, whatever happened to this guy? And somebody basically said he, no, I'm still alive and kicking, I've just been dealing with some shit, and hopefully I'll have some more videos for you soon.